Welcome to the CitizenChange.com evening broadcast. Please visit our website citizenchange.com for the articles associated with this broadcast along with additional resources to help you gain a broader understanding of the current news with a liberty, spiritual and anti-statist perspective. Welcome. Please have a seat next to me. I have much to share. Ever since this pandemic has started, the entirety of the religious world has bound itself to secular will. It has closed all the churches, synagogues and mosques in the United States, including all other spiritual buildings and groups minus a few who have rightly resisted. It would come to a surprise to many of our ancestors that the Pope has fallen to fear and has given over his power to executive mandates. This must be one of the rare moments in time, if not the first time in history of the Catholic Church, that the Pontiff has given its power over to someone else willingly without a struggle. All the times in history of the Church that it has militantly went out and defended its own territory and its own cause against endless hordes, city-states, tribe after tribe of pagans, it was defeated and has succumbed to a white lie called the coronavirus. It could be said that the Pope is in on this lie, using the virus towards a totalitarian new world order. There are many within the Church like the Jesuits who may find pleasure in this state of affairs, including a number of militant progressive nuns, but what of the faithful? And what of faith? Has the Catholic Church just rendered itself null and void by giving into the global agenda behind these lockdowns? Instead of keeping their churches open and offering hope through God in faith and tradition and liturgy to save its people from this virus, have they given power over to the secular gods of public programs and state-run medical facilities to be the saviors? During the Spanish flu, people were encouraged to go to the church and pray to find answers. But now churches are actually considered a threat to human life. Every time that I have seen a preacher continue his services despite orders is a true example for us all in the spirit of fearlessness that is the Spirit of Christ. Now where are the priests who will follow in suit? For Protestants and other faiths, for the most part, going to church isn't necessarily important at saving one's soul. For the faithful of the Catholic Church, it is necessary to go to church to receive the sacrament and be in the presence of God, who is present through the liturgy and in the actual structure and building of the church, for the whole church in all of its liturgy and in its ways and its traditions. The truth of salvation and the process by which someone is saved is built into every single facet of it. There is no vanity, nor is there any useless posture or nuance or genuflection of the church that is without meaning. The powers of self-governance once built within all the churches need to be restored unto itself, and that they do not answer to anyone, especially to the government. Because they are the heart and soul of the people and of God and of creation and of all the universe. They cannot be subjugated to the whims of atheism that is manifested within the secular realm. The churches are the heart of the solution to heal everyone. For it is within the heart where health comes from, and it is not through tools and devices. True healing comes from the faith of the people. Everyone who has a church who has a 501c3 tax-exempt status needs to get rid of it and defy its stipulations, because that is what is being used to control the churches. It is what it is being used to rein them in and to force them preach the doctrines of compliance with the state during key crisis events. The Catholic Church should be on the forefront of this battle and striking back at the globalists to win back the hearts and souls of its own people who have strayed from it and have seen it as a hypocritical church who only cares about domination on the physical, spiritual and even the sexual level. If it stood for liberty, truly did stand for liberty, it would mobilize its own army as it has in the past to ensure the true gospel gets out there and not the gospel of the state. It makes me sick to see how it has been normalized to meet your church members online. To treat this like this is normal and it's going to pass. Anyone who is familiar with the book of Revelations should be screaming inside of themselves to say that this really is the endgame of Satan. Who else would keep people out of their churches other than Satan? That would be the government. Every Baptist preacher who preaches of government overreach that I have been familiar with should never be giving into this, especially the Mormons who have been chased around their entirety for their first 100 years of existence from mobs and the government as vagabonds, troublemakers and a plague upon American society for just being different. They should know by their past what governments do to people who don't toe the line. All churches should know what governments do when you do not toe the line. Caesars should not be trusted for obvious reasons known to themselves. The great deal of church leaders have been bought and paid for by getting tax-exempt status. They need to be reawakened to their duties. Their people should not be considered harbingers of viruses. We are supposed to kiss lepers and hug them and embrace them, but we are running from each other now when we are nowhere near as infectious and deathly ill as lepers. The churches have allowed us to feel like being a coward is okay. To fear death is okay. But it is not okay. Because there is no power in being afraid. There is only power in the spirit and in the defiance of death. You are to hug and embrace one another and believe that all things will come to pass properly and in order as God would have mandated. It is time to take a stand and defy the government's orders for social distancing, and to tell our preachers, priests and our other religious leaders that we must stand against this government as one and take our spiritual power back. So should the Pope if he does not want to be considered the last Pope, as Saint Malachi had predicted. He's making the church irrelevant and he is bankrupting it by trying to be politically correct. The people want to hear the truth and want to hear it hard and loud and fiery. They are tired of being lied to, they're tired of being coddled. They want to stand in strength and not in weakness. You would have your coffers filled overnight to pay for all the churches that have closed down because they have no money left if you would just stand up and fight this globalist movement for New World Order and for politically correct stances on progressive politics. We do need a new revival in not being ashamed to be strong in the spirit, and especially revival in not being afraid of death, because that is what it's going to take to liberate this world from the powers that are trying to enslave us all through their laws and through their technologies and their ideals that destroy the mind, heart and body of every single man and woman, born and unborn. The churches are the heart of our communities. It is what we all center around, and when it is emptied we become empty and a slave to the state. When Sunday comes around, fill the churches, without masks on, and hug one another, and tell the state to shove it. Thank you for spending some time with me tonight, and would hope you can spend a little more time with me tomorrow. Please visit my website citizenchange.com for more news and resources. If you like what I do, please consider donating via PayPal or visiting joshuastrumpet.org and purchasing our custom merchandise that will help spread the message of liberty and to demoralize and eventually defeat authoritarian government. Let's work together towards a freer world where everyone can determine their own future and to never again allow this new world order to take us over again.